Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another video. If you've seen it on Instagram, I know you guys are excited, but today we're going to talk about the JoyToy Corvus Valley Infinity, Sergeant Duroc, and Lieutenant Margot. So, let's get talking about it. Excuse me. What's crazy is JoyToy sent these over to me because they wanted me to review some stuff, and I already bought one. So the JoyToy one actually arrived before mine, which is crazy. But here I am, so shout out to JoyToy, who knew exactly what I wanted because they sent me a bunch of figures. Then we'll talk about that in another video. But I was super excited for this pack because I've been obsessing over the Warhammer stuff and their other lines, and I'm really happy because their Battle for the Star stuff is like really cool. And I don't know what the story is behind it yet, but I'm really here for this 3¼ inch stuff. And it's crazy because this werewolf is gigantic. I'm not even joking. Like, he is absolutely gigantic. So, first let's talk about Margot. She looks really good. And again, she's so tiny compared to him. I'm going to turn down my brightness just a bit. There we go. She is so tiny compared to him. But she does look really cool. And I do like the fact that the sculpt is still really solid. They even have a scar on the right side of her cheek. I'm not even sure if you can see that, but there's a scar there still for her. Articulation wise, we have a really solid look for it. The only thing that's missing is probably going to be a butterfly joint. But even though she's single jointed as a 3¼ inch, I feel like they really get the job done. Right? We still have excellent articulation. We even have ab crunch, like a really strong ab crunch. We do need to be careful for the paint rub here between parts. But we have an upper torso as well as a lower torso movement. That means we can actually get really cool. And these 3¼ inch actually have ball joints. So that's really solid. We have rotating upward for our leg. We have a thigh swivel, which is really strong. We have double jointed knees. Right? So doing like running poses, jumping poses, even stuff like martial arts or like rider kicks, all of this stuff is easily possible for these 3¼ inch figures. So that means we have a ton of articulation. We even have generous ankle pivot, which is crazy for something this small. And they even have a toe pivot. Like, this is a lot for a 3¼ inch. Oop, let's fix that. Sorry. It's a lot to focus on. That's something so tiny. But it's crazy because I didn't think that we would get something like this so small. I know, like, with the Warhammer stuff, it's a little bit bigger, so you have a lot to work with. But compared to the earlier stuff, this is probably, in my opinion, a masterpiece now, mastered, because they've learned to manage both articulation, movement, smooth joints. Like, these are easily some of the best miniature figures I've held in a very long time. And stuff like removable weapons. Like, I forgot this was even in here. We'll talk about that in the accessories, right? So we have a handgun. But between the thigh swivel, the ab crunch, all the movement, I think JoyToy, just like Acid Rain, is killing the game in sort of 3¼ inch to a point where it allows us to do all the cool things that we have now. And I know everybody's waiting on the werewolf, so this is a big deal, right? I don't know the story yet, but we have a giant space werewolf. Like, I'm gonna have to raise this up as we talk about him. Now, again, I was crazy enough to leave like his machete sheathed and things like that, because out the gate, this guy is gigantic and terrifying. I love every moment of it. Its sculpt is really solid. I do love like how the head movement is. It leaves enough room so that way, even with this strong, hard plastic collar, you can still lift your head up. You can tilt left and right. You can go downward. As far as our arms go, right, we don't get a lot of range, unfortunately, going up. So that means hitting a T-pose is not going to be possible for this guy, which is one of the things I like most, obviously. I always talk about it, right? So this is about as far as up you'll go, but you can rotate up and down and go all the way around. We do have a bicep swivel, which is really solid. And for the record, if you want, you can actually remove things on part of the armor. If you don't want this solid armor parts here, they are removable. Now, as far as our waist goes, right, as you can see, our crunch is very serious. We can crunch forward really deep. We can rotate to the side very easily, right? So that is a big plus, especially when you lose out on stuff like lifting your arms up. right? Our legs can go up really, really far. We have a beautiful, beautiful movement here for our knees. We do have a thigh swivel as well. Now, I will say this. I'm going to add some kikis right here because he is very, very, very top heavy. So even with the rotating of his paws at the bottom, like as you can rotate this little paw pivot. I don't, because, well, it's still feet, but you know what I mean. I'm being a jerk now. I'm sorry. We also have ball joint movement on the tail. It just rotates around, wiggles up and down just a little bit. But this guy does look fantastic. His sculpt is amazing. And again, it's crazy because this isn't a 1/12 scale werewolf. This is a 1/18 scale one, at least in their universe. So with him being top heavy, you want to use that tail to kind of balance things out. But as you can see here, he does look really, really, really good. Like they know what they're doing with like the whole paramilitary space werewolf look. Like, oh, backpack is removable as well if you don't want to add that there. So again, like this is just a quick pose with him. Let's see if he's gonna balance. Like I said, because you get that nice ankle pivot. Look at that. Beautiful pose. But again, so also he is on a ball joint for the hands. So again, but like I said, it's going to be tough because you can't lift the arms all the way up, but you can do stuff like go around. I still love this guy. I love the sculpt on this guy, and I'm excited because being 1/18 scale means I can have him bust up my 1/25 scale robots or 1/18 scale robots as he battles them in a battle for the future. So I'm here for it. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a second to jump up and enjoy those accessories. So let's talk about those. All right, now we're going to jump into our accessories. Let me maybe turn it up as the sun is going down right here as I'm doing this video. But accessory wise, what's really cool is if you can't keep your werewolf balanced, he will come with a tiny plate stand, help you balancing this big boy out. I didn't take mine out the package yet because I like the challenge of balancing him out because I'm probably crazy. So yeah, that's me. But I know before I talked about them carrying the accessories, I emptied out the ones that I knew of that they straight up carried in package. One is going to be our werewolf's machete. This can actually just be stored right on the backpack. Slide right in with little to no issue. The same can be said for Margot, who has a tiny sidearm futuristic pistol. And it does slide in. Now what's really crazy is it doesn't slide all the way in. It kind of just sits right at the top. But I'm okay with that because it just looks cool. But she does actually come with a main weapon. And what's really cool is it literally looks like she combined like a small grenade launcher on top of her already. Oh, is the magazine removable? No, the magazine's not removable. But it looks like she had like a larger machine gun attached to a smaller like flare or grenade gun, which is pretty cool. There's no opening on the front, but it does look really cool. You'll also get 2 extra hands for her. She does have 1 trigger hand, so if you want, they're gonna add like the opposite trigger hand for her left hand, for her left hand, and an item holding hand. So she doesn't come with any closed fist hands, but that's totally fine. Next up, for our werewolf, we'll get machete holding hands in case you don't want to use your claws. Right? Come on, focus, focus, focus. There we go. Right? So these will hold your machete, or if you want to add other items, whatever it is you can do, these are there for you. They do have a soft plastic, so you don't have to stress that, oh my god, I can't get the hand open. Soft plastic, you can just widen it out. Same will be said for our trigger hands. Our trigger hands are going to hold our twin blasters that we have for our characters. I'm going to put down one of the hands because you will get 2 twin blasters. Alright, and with the twin blasters, like I said, it's cool because the soft plastic will allow you to just mush it right in. And if you can't, you just use some tweezers, slide it across, and you have it. So that about rounds up for our accessories. It's not a lot, but it's enough to cover these figures and what we're getting for this line. I will say this, even though I don't know anything about the lore of this yet because it is a fresh line, I would love to read comic books from this. I would absolutely love it. So, JoyToy, when you watch, if you are watching, anybody out there, do some comics for this. I would gladly read these items. I would gladly read about them. So, what we are going to do is we're going to jump into some size comparisons. For the sake of the werewolf, I'm going to put a few 6-inch figures in there, so that way you know what you're getting into. just to see how big this guy is. So I'll see you guys in a sec. All right, now we're in the size comparison. So I have a few other 3 1/4 inch lines. I have Jazzware, I have other JoyToy stuff, as well as some Warhammer stuff, and I have Hiya toys. So let's get to going with it. Where do I start? So let's start with some other stuff that's probably in the line. Here we are with a few other figures that is from the same line. I haven't memorized their names yet. Please forgive me. I got this package in and I'm like losing my mind because of just how cool this line has been. So I know these guys are in the same army of Ariadna or Ariadna. Like, I'm trying to memorize it. But as you can see here, Werewolf is gigantic. These guys are all like human scale size. She's a little bit on the smaller side, but as you can see here, they do look really good and in scale with each other, right? Then we have some other stuff from Battle of the Stars. We have a guy in like a mech suit, a space suit, obviously, I should say. That's also from JoyToy. As you can see, he's not much taller, but still pretty good. Then we have a Hiya Toys Judge, right? As you can see here, a little bit on the smaller side, but still pretty cool. Let's actually tone it down just a bit, light-wise. At least it's a little bright on my eyes right now. Then we have the Jazzware's Master Chief, which, as you can see here, he's going to be gigantic over normal humans, as he should be, right? And that works out for me. So when you remove all of these guys, right, then you do like the Warhammer stuff. So here is a Warhammer character, a Black Templar, and as you can see, they are gigantic over normal humans. And just to show you, like, put another JoyToy human here. These guys are like superhuman compared to normal humans, right? The guys in gigantic power armor, but the werewolf still towers over them. Now, before I jump into the 6-inch figures comparing with Senior Werewolf, right? Here is one of my 1/25th scale robots. I couldn't dig out one of my 1/8 scale ones, but the 1/25th scale is gigantic over these guys to fit like human characters in them. So, like I said, our werewolf will look really cool fighting them. I just need to find my 1/8 scale ones, dig them out of storage. But yes. Now, I'm going to remove Margot. And then we're going to compare a few 6-inch figures so we can show you, like I said, just how big this guy is. Here we are with a G.I. Joe Copperhead. And as you can see here, he's not that much bigger than Copperhead, but it does look like it's really cool and really, really works, right? So even if you remove Copperhead, let's do a Valaverse Undercover Condor. I feel like this guy really does fit in, even with like sentient figures. Here we are with a Lightning collection. So if you want your werewolf to be like that, maybe it's a short guy who turned into a werewolf, whatever other thing you want to have going on, it does kind of work with 6-inch figures. And just in case, if you were curious, here is a Mythic Legion. Cosmic Legion, I should say. That's here with it. Again, does not look terrible in the slightest, working with the other cosmic stuff. So you kind of stick on brand, right? I don't see any crazy issue there. So if it's one of those things where I feel like you want to mix and match your scales and your lines, these guys work. And I'm really happy like I got this set, because it's crazier than I imagined. I didn't imagine it would be this cool. And I'm going to have some fun. I really hope the photos come out dope. So in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Shout out to JoyToy. They know I've fallen deep into Warhammer lore, so they got me good. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for enjoying. Yeah. Hey, by the time this goes up, I'll also be at PowerCon. Make sure you come see me at booth 535. I'll see you in Columbus, Ohio. So in the meantime, please be good, do good, drink your water, guys. Later.